Hey everybody, welcome to Tangle 26 and the start of Sprint 2. So up until now I've been moving at a pretty fast clip because I wanted to get the website done. So now I'm going to take more time and teach more. We're starting the sprint and we have to pick which ticket to work on. Now, an earlier episode we talked about invest as a principle where you wanted things to be independent of each other. Even when you do your best in backlog grooming and sprint planning, sometimes you miss an important thing, which is dependencies. So these were written to be independent of each other, but when you dig into them, you can see that they're not. So you can see here it says user clicks link with text steps. So that's not possible unless you have tab switching done. So that means that this ticket is blocked by the other. You should make such dependencies as explicit as possible. You click link issue is blocked by, and then put in the switching story. Whenever you add an is blocked by this, if you look at the other ticket, it'll say the opposite, which is blocks. Now, what about this one? Because there is a video tab, you might think that this would be blocked in the same way, but video is the first tab. So you might be able to get away with just ignoring the tab switching part and just put this into the main content area. If you look at the gherkin itself, you can also see here it says add tag in the background section. So this is going to cause a problem. For something like that, you can just comment out the line until you're ready to work on the tag stuff down below. Since this one is blocking at least this one, I'm going to start working on it first and open up the task. And make a branch from main. You can also see that the timer has started for this ticket. Let's get that gherkin back. Oh, before I go a little further, it's often good to see if you have any files that are not committed yet. Yeah, it looks like I didn't check these in. All right, I'm just going to switch back to that branch real quick. Okay, going back to the other branch. Switching back and forth between branches is a skill you want to be comfortable with because it really helps to isolate your changes in a way that's obvious to both you and anybody else who's going to be doing code review. Okay, this is actually an instructive thing. The change to the feature file was in the commit that I just made. And so because I branched off of main before that, it's not here anymore. I need to merge the changes from main into my current code. You can do a show diff first just to see what's going to happen. So you can see these are the differences, including these files down here. So if I do main, merge main into tan20, then it brings those changes in. It takes a little while before you can think like Git, especially if you used a version control system before. So we know that we need chapter body, video body, and steps body, which did not exist before. So the first thing we're going to do is change our Pojo to include these fields here. So here's body. Now, when you change a Pojo, the next thing you should think is you want to change your database initialization template, which is in resources, DB migration, and then this init database. Now, since we don't have any lasting data at this point, it's a lot easier just to zero out the database and create a new. So we're going to stay at version 1 here. We don't need to go to version 2. If we had production data, then we would want to do this. All right, so we're going to change this to, so it will reinitialize it. This should work. Let's go down to the next one. It's switch content tabs. Click link with text video. So if I run this right now, it's going to fail. First, I'm going to do a build. Now I'm going to run Tangle application. Now I'm going to run this scenario. Ah, there you go. Body. So we forgot to update one other thing, which is the content. So we have a bunch of these, and you can see body here. Search and replace this. And let's just make sure there's no database here. And then run Tangle again. All right, so we do have chapter body. Okay, now let's try running this again. The sample entries worked. That's the stuff up here. All right, so this stuff is not surprising. Episodes, section header, letters to a young poet, header, and then user clicks link with text video. This is exactly what we wanted. So there is no link with text video at this point. So the test is read, and next thing to do is change the UI to have video steps chapter like this. So let's start by drilling down into our code to find out where we want to put that tab and also to review a little bit. So I'm in my web front end branch, go into source, and you can see index.html. This is the file that is loaded into the browser always. And this is all just basic HTML except for this part right here, div ID root. This is the part that gets rewritten here. So it says get element by ID root and then render this into that div. So this is a router and it's BF parent, and then we configure children underneath BF parent for these different paths. So we'll look at BF parent, and then you can see in BF parent that it has a nav component, and then within this main tag, the outlet, which is the stuff that comes from here. So it swaps these out depending on the path. And then a footer. So the nav is just the stuff at the top. So it's not relevant to what we're working on right now. What we actually want to deal with here is episodes, because that's where the tab is going to be when we're on the episodes view. So let's go into episodes, and then you can see that this, depending on whether there's an entry key or not, will either show a list or a view. So we want to look at the view because it's one specific entry that we're showing. So entry view is going to have an entry and then a sidebar. All right, so let's look at entry. And this is showing the title and the time and the body. All right, let me close all of these. So that's step one. Step two is finding the component that I actually want to use for this. Let's go to PrimeReact. First, we need the import, the top of the page. And this. I'm going to put two more panels in, and I'm going to do chapter body. Rather than duplicate this 3 times, I'm going to put this div on the outside. let's have a look and see what it's doing. Okay, so it actually is working. It just has no styling yet. And that's because we haven't put in a PrimeReact theme yet. So a theme is a bundle of styles that PrimeReact uses to make it look like other things. So if you look at getting started installation, you can see towards the top here, it says theming, and it gives you an example, which is Lara Light Cyan theme.css. So you could just choose this one if you want and put it in. Or if you want to see what's possible, click this button up here, and then it shows you different themes that come built in. So you could do like a material design theme or a bootstrap theme and so forth. If you click on themes, it'll give you a list of all the ones that are built in, and these correspond to the names that you just saw. So not to think too hard about it, let's do Nano. And I'm going to put this into the index.js file. To look at how this changes things, I need to compile my web source again, which I was doing either by doing npm run build in the web directory explicitly, or I was running the Webpack live server, which did it automatically. There's a third way to do this, which is useful as well. You can run the watch command, and to do that, right-click on package.json, choose show npm scripts, and then do this, and then you'll see that now it's available to you in this run configuration. So whenever you change your source now, if this is running, it'll automatically compile your source, which is useful. So let's go have a look. This is what it looks like now. And now you can see I have actual tabs. You can also see that the theme changed for this, which is kind of interesting. I'm not sure if I like it or not. Just to drive the point home, let's go with a different theme just to see a difference. How about we'll do this one. And so it should compile it automatically because watch is running. And let's see what it looks like. Yeah, so it's different. It's got this kind of poppy effect here. All right, anyway, so that's how you switch themes. I'm going to leave it on Lara Light. All right, let's clear the database and look at the real data. So I have to restart my Tangle. All right, so you can see that I don't have any content here for these guys, but it looks pretty good. Let's see if my Gherkin runs. Okay, so I didn't put in the ID video body, so we should go in there and do that. Ah, so when I stopped everything, I turned off the watch. So let's just do this real quickly. Should be more selective about how I stop things. Okay, all green, scenario passed. So that means I can close out the story. Here, I'm just going to commit and then go in and do tools, close active task. So I don't want to merge this time because we want to do a pull request and have the team leads merge it. And also we're going to move it to the review state. So go ahead and hit OK. Now we want to make a pull request. Go into GitHub, create pull request. You can see this tab here with pull request pops up. And then you can see that it's telling me that we have one commit for the pull request, and these are the files that are in it. And so I can just give it a name here. And I can give myself a reviewer. How about we'll have Big Fractal review it and hit create pull request. So what this is saying is that we only have a local tan20 branch. And so it's saying, what do you want it to be on the remote? So at GitHub itself. And so that's fine. I'll go with the default. So let's take a look at GitHub. And actually, I just want to see if it emailed me. There, look at that. It says, Timothy Falconer, Big Fractal Tangle tab view is working, pull request. And so this is the email that gets sent to the reviewer. I can click this link. Okay, it looks like I haven't actually signed in. Now this is interesting. So it says your main branch isn't protected, which means that developers can push to it automatically. So I'm going to click protect this branch. I'm going to go down here and there's a whole bunch of things you can restrict. And so I'm going to say require a pull request before merging. Then here I'm going to say required approval 1, and then require approval of the most recent from someone other than the person who pushed it. And I think you have to give that a name. So PR other create. Okay, so let's go back to pull request. And you can see this one is here. I'm going to go into it. And then you can see the conversation. But more importantly, I can take a look at the code. And you see all the files that I want to look at here. And then I can see right away, BF entry. We got rid of this line. We got these put in. And then you can just kind of go through the whole thing and discuss what you like, what you don't like. Then up here, review changes. You click this, and then you can say, looks good to me. And you can either have this be just a comment, or this could be request changes. So this is going to prevent the pull request from going through, or you can do approve, and then this will approve merging the changes. So I'm going to do that. And then you can see it says changes approved, and this is in the history of the pull request. And then right here, merge pull request. Confirm merge. Pull request successfully merged and closed. And then at this point, you can delete the branch that it came from. I'm going to leave it now just so that we have a little bit of history. And let's take a look at the code. So you can see that we're on the main branch. And just to double check that this is actually working, I'm going to go, actually, now I'm going to go into web. This one changed, so it should have the style. Yep. So it is now officially on the main branch. Now, if you go back to IntelliJ, you can see this pull request is no longer showing up in the list of open pull requests. I'm still on the tan20 branch though, so when I do tools open task to start working on the next one, which will be markdown, I'll do update to in progress, create the change list, tan20. Oh, yeah, so this has been using tan20 as a branch the whole time. That's kind of weird. Sorry about that. That other branch should have been tan18. Okay, whatever. I'm going to hit OK. So this is saying, do you want to get rid of the other change list, which is fine. All right, so let's take a look. We got tan20. And very importantly, if you go to the time, you can see that tan18 has 1 hour, 1 minute. So I'm going to push that time as well. And I can delete this from the time tracking. So now we're ready for tan20. Thanks for listening.